It's Tuesday night, and we are live once again tonight. Live coverage of the 200-lap Icebreaker 200 presented by SD Ireland Cancer Research Fund, a special event here for the In the Zone Racing League. And man, we've got a great field, 30 cars. I'm Jeff By Jr., joined by Bill Tomer in the broadcast booth. Bill, 30 cars and a lot of money on the line for tonight's race.
A lot of money and a lot of pride, Jeff. It's the second annual Icebreaker 200. We're going to have a new winner this season. Last season's champion, Blake Neer, is not in the house, did not sign up for this race. So not only are you talking about a lot of money on the line, Jeff, but it is one of those crown jewel events. It is the ITZR crown jewel event. And we have a stacked field of drivers that are going to compete for that $250 championship prize tonight. Jeff, it is going to be an exciting 200 laps. I'm really looking forward to it, to be honest.
Yeah, this should be really exciting. Some very, very fast drivers here. We say it all the time. The best short track drivers on iRacing in the super late model, they all show up to these big events here at ITZR, and tonight is no different. Thomas Axum going to lead him to the green, the defending champion of our ITZR late model shootout series.
Yeah, he was a dominator. We call Alex Mccullum the dominator, but Axum was that man this past season in the late model shootout series. He dominated the season as he picked up 5 wins in the late model shootout series out of 10 races. So he was incredible last season. So he is going to be starting on the pole, and tonight, you would have to pick him as the man to beat, as we are already ready to jump onto the grid, Jeff, as we are finished with our practice sessions. Alex Mccullum, your quickest car in practice, he will be rolling off 11th in tonight's feature.
Remember, if you're with us on Facebook now, give us a like and a share. Make sure you leave a comment. I see County Road Custom Millwork just dropped in the chat there, said, let's go, and we are excited. They are presenting a championship tumbler tonight to the winner of this race, County Road Custom Millwork. Go check them out on Facebook. Check out their website. All kinds of cool stuff there. One of our sponsors here for this ITZR Icebreaker 200. And we'll talk about the rest of those sponsors as we go on. SD Ireland Cancer Research Fund as well tonight. Brett Suggs, Racing and Marketing. Plenty of people that helped us out, and we will talk about them throughout the night. But, Bill, we got to go through our grid here as we're waiting on Thomas Axum to grid, and I think he's ready to go.
Starting on your pole in the second annual Icebreaker 200, we talked about him in the 13 machine. That is Thomas Axum, and to his outside in the 75 machine, another top contender in the late model shootout series. That's Landon Huffman.
In that second row, we're going to have some drivers we haven't really seen at ITZR, but some of the heavy hitters on iRacing. The 39 and Max J. Cookson on the outside of them. The 132, that is Trayton Lapsevich.
Starting in the 5th position in the 95 machine. Interesting paint scheme on this car. He's got somebody on the hood. That's Dalton Collins, and to his outside, another driver we don't see very often in the late model shootout series or at ITZR. In the number 2, that's Trevor Edwards.
Starting 7th tonight will be the 31 of Josh Cottle. On the outside of him in that 32 car, that's Jason Warren.
Starting in the 9th position, a past late model challenge series champion, the youngster, we call him the kid. It's the 18 car, Caden Fisher, and to his outside in the number 28, that's Corey Bigley.
Starting 11th tonight, one of the heat race winners from last night, the 1 of Alex Mccullum. On the outside of him, the other heat race winner, the 07, that's Kyle Martinson.
Starting 13th, it's a teammate of the car that's starting next alongside of him. That's the 72 machine at LP Lazier, and the other 72 on the outside, that's Jeff Rivard.
Starting 15th tonight will be the 88 of Caden Tufts. On the outside of him, the 33, that's Brett Suggs.
Starting in the 17th position in the 7NC, that is Luke Baldwin, and to his outside in the 30 machine, a winner in the late model challenger series, that is Will Dravicki.
Starting 19th tonight will be the ravishing one, the 81 of Rick Rube. On the outside of him, another winner in the challenger series last season, the 1 car of Sean Hayes.
Starting in the 21st position in the familiar number 17, that is AJ Rogers, and to his outside in the 08, it's Super Zach Onen.
Your LCQ winner, Blaze Brinkley, will start 23rd tonight. On the outside of him, the 16 car, that's Cade Brown.
Starting in the 25th position in the familiar 212 green and black machine, that is Jonathan Sanford, and to his outside in the 5, that's John Piet.
Tom Scully will start 27th tonight in the 05. On the outside of him in the 32, that's John Bajorquez.
Starting 29th in the 10 machine, that is Matt Nicholson, and to his outside, shotgun in the field in the 82, that's Shane Bedford.
That is your 30 cars, $250 to win tonight, over $650 being awarded to our top 10 finishers tonight. Lots of money on the line here for the IceBreaker 200. Bill Pace car lights are out, and Thomas Axum is going to take us green flag racing.
We'll take a look at that number 13 car when he decides to go. Landon Huffman to his outside. Matt Cookson behind him, waiting to see when he's going to go. And here comes the loud pedal. Thomas Axum is going to go green.
Ready, green flag.
Axum is off and away. Landon Huffman going to try to drop in behind him. There comes Max J. Cookson taking a peek inside. He's going to back off for the time being. It is a 200-lap race, so no need to push it here on lap 1. Let those tires heat up and get some laps underway.
Single file till we get back to the 2 car. That is Trevor Edwards. He's going to be to the outside. He's going to look to get around. Actually, he's getting passed at the moment by the 95 of Dalton Collins. Josh Calder right behind him looking on.
Collins and Trevor Edwards battling hard right there for the 5th position. Edwards is going to get it for the time being. Collins going to slip back to 6th. And then we got a mess further back. Corey Bigley working that outside lane of Caden Tufts. And this is just outside the top 10, around the 11th position. And they are stacked double file all the way back through the field.
Those are some cars that locked themselves into the heat races. Corey Bigley was in on his qualifying time, just taking his time right now as he's not able to get down to that 28 machine. The choo-choo train is lined up. You see Bigley being aggressive, gets down in front of Luke Baldwin as he had lost some spots since the start.
Bigley back in the line in front of Luke Baldwin. Now further back into the field, you see Kyle Martinson. He just got clear of Rick Rube. He got down to the inside. Now a little trouble. The 72, Jeff Rivard up the racetrack. Maybe some contact with Rube, and I think Will Dravicki maybe got into the back of Rube as well.
Looked like Rick Rube got a little wild getting down into turn 3 that time, slammed on the brakes, and Rivard might have caught him in the right front. That was a little bit interesting. Now you see Dravicki on the inside of Rivard down the back straightaway. Rivard showing a little bit of damage in that 72 machine. This is a pretty fast track. That might hurt him going forward.
Matt Nicholson came down pit road. Looks like he had some issues there and decided to get out of the way of the leaders. Already was going a lap down, so trouble there for Matt Nicholson. Head down pit road and lose a lap already.
Side by side now, Sean Hayes looking to the inside of Jeff Rivard. That is a battle for the 19th position. Sean Hayes in that bright number 1 machine trying to get around the 72 cars. These guys are trying to move forward. This race does pay the top 10. So all these guys right here in the teens, they want to get into that top 10, so they're trying to make moves as early as possible.
Jeff Rivard was finally able to get in line. He lost the spot there to Sean Hayes, finally drops down, but he fell all the way back to the 19th position. Started 14th, so he's going to have his work cut out for him to get back to the front.
Our LCQ winner last night just made a move on the 17 at AJ Rogers. That's Blaze Brinkley in the 11 machine as he is moving forward. The car that finished second to him in that LCQ, Cade Brown, has actually gotten around Blaze Brinkley. You can find him right now running in the 21st position.
Well, and speaking of making moves, Alex McCullum has dived under Caden Fisher. This is a battle for 8th on the racetrack. Caden on the outside of that 18 car. Alex McCullum in the 1, trying to work his way forward. Alex started 11th tonight, heat race winner. Didn't make a qualifying effort last night, so he had to race his way in the hard way.
Alex McCullum was your quickest car in practice. We talked about it, and if you were here with us last night, he raced from the very back of the heat race field and won his heat race in 30 laps. So Alex was able to make moves with his race car last night. Tonight he's going to have to do more of the same, as he had to start 11th after winning that heat race, and he's doing it right now as he's up to the 7th, actually make that the 8th position.
We heard from a lot of these drivers that the setup is getting tight on the long runs, and we saw some really long runs last night. In fact, no cautions whatsoever between our 30-lap heats and our 50-lap LCQ. We went caution-free the whole night, so these drivers might be expecting long green flag runs, which means you really got to take care of the right front tire here.
Yeah, we've heard from these drivers that the right front does wear itself out. And over the long run, that right front starts to go away. And so some of these drivers did talk about that they were going to try to protect it for a while so that they could have a little bit of right front as this race wore on. One set of tires for these drivers they could change at one point during this race. But most of these guys probably trying to change that to hold that right front together early on in this race and wait to change those tires late.
You saw Alex McCullum get around Josh Cottle. Caden Fisher going to try to do the same. He's going to follow through in that 18 car. He gets around Cottle now. Cottle back into the 9th position. Slots right in front of Jason Warren. So we'll see if Cottle maybe just saving tires right now or maybe just doesn't have the handle of that car right.
Most of the field right now, single file, not a whole lot of battles as yet. Well, Well, check that. Make it Alex McCullum underneath Dalton Collins. He will take away the 7th spot. So he goes through and passes Dalton Collins through turns 1 and 2, and they'll be single file down the back straightaway.
Yeah, that'll actually move McCullum up to 6. Collins back to the 7th position. So Alex on the move early. He's not thinking tires right now. He's just trying to get track position, get to the front. These drivers will have one additional set of tires that they can use throughout this race, but you really got to time it right. You want to make sure you save those tires for late in the race. Don't want to get caught out on old tires late into this one and be a sitting duck out front.
Thomas Axum continuing to lead this race. At the moment, he's got a decent lead over Landon Huffman, just about a 0.4 second lead, so a 4/10 lead over Landon Huffman. Behind him, there's a 4-car gaggle as we've got Huffman, Cookson. That's the 32 of Trevor Edwards and the 2 machine. I'm sorry, the 32 of Trey Lapsevich and the 2 machine of Trevor Edwards. That's 2nd through 5th. Those guys are all nose to tail. Just behind them, it's Alex McCullum, a little bit of a gap back to Dalton Collins in the 95, and then pretty much the entire field being pulled by Caden Fisher.
Yeah, this field has really not spread out as much as you would expect right now. Very much single file all the way back and nose to tail. Thomas Axum really trying to build a gap, but he's not quite able to get away from Landon Huffman just yet. That gap is maintained about 0.4 of a second for basically about 20 laps here.
Yeah, we're already working lap number 21 as these guys are doing a great job getting around this racetrack nose to tail at the moment. We'll take a look and make sure we don't see any battles happening, and we'll let you know, and we'll get it on the screen for you as we see a little bit of a battle happening.
Trevor Edwards. Trevor Edwards up into the outside wall. Some contact with Alex McCullum. Damaged the front end of McCullum's car really badly. And that could be devastating for McCullum. A lot of damage to the front end. It looks like Edwards maybe got the outside wall down the back straightaway.
Yeah, just looking at it, he got the outside wall hard, and McCullum didn't really have anywhere to go, so he slammed into the back of the 2 machine. These cars are built like tanks on the rear end, but the front end, they're frail. So that's going to be a problem for that number 1 car. He's going to be slowed down by that situation. As Trevor Edwards having issues in the 2, McCullum caught in it.
Edwards starting to feel the pressure now from Dalton Collins. Edwards continued on. He made some heavy contact with the outside wall, got run into from behind by Alex McCullum as his momentum slowed down, and he was able to gather that car up. Didn't go around. We continue on racing, but trouble early on for Trevor Edwards.
I'd rather say trouble early on for Alex McCullum because that front end is pushed in pretty hard. He's probably going to need a yellow at some point to go in and try to get some repairs on that 1 machine if he wants to be fast later on. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep up with guys like Axum and Huffman and Cookson out there out front because that car, you can see it right there, it is pretty beat up.
Yeah, we talked about this new Super late model. You don't think about late models being very aero dependent, but that car does have a front splitter on it. And in messing that up can affect the handling of the car. It kind of takes some downforce off the front end and can kind of develop a push. And if we're already talking about long green flag runs and cars getting tight and abusing the right front tire, that's not what you want. You don't want to be sliding the front end. Trouble for Matt Nicholson. He gets collected by Trevor Edwards. Josh Cottle's involved. We got several drivers involved in this one. Caution is going to fly on lap 27 down the front straightaway. Looks like Matt Nicholson was going a lap down and drivers just weren't able to avoid him.
Very confused as to what happened with the 10 machine there. He just decided to stop and basically wreck the back half of the field. I mean, we have a whole pile of cars trying to see what happened. He was getting lapped and just didn't really take any kind of line, just drove it way up the racetrack.
Yeah, I think Matt was trying to get out of the way there and then got to the front straightaway, just kind of ran out of room to be that off the pace. And Trevor Edwards nowhere to go, gets into the back and Matt spins him out. It looks like Jason Warren was all involved, Caden Tufts. And a lot of cars caught up in that, and fast cars right around the top 10.
Boy, this is a big situation for a lot of cars that were in the top 10. A lot of contenders just taken out by a lap machine as they were coming around. unfortunate for those drivers is this is one of those cars you can't see much when you're looking out the front end. You kind of just see the car in front of you, and a bunch of those cars piled into that Matt Nicholson issue.
So the first caution of the Icebreaker going to wave here on lap 27. I see a lot of drivers coming down pit road. Cottle, Edwards is on pit road. Caden Tuff's on pit road trying to repair some damage here. Shout out to Becca Weber on the chat cheering for Super Zach Onan. Zach currently running in the 20th position.
So we're just trying to look to see what how many cars were caught in that one. That was a big mess. And really, unfortunately, the worst part about it is it caught up a lot of lead lap cars. We see the number 2 of Trevor Edwards is caught in it. Looks like Dalton Collins will get some front end damage. I believe Caden Fisher also not able to actually. Caden gets through. Josh Cottle, he's got some damage. Jason Warren ended up flipping as the 88 of Caden Tufts could not slow down. Corey Bigley involved as well. I think Kyle Martinson might have some front end damage. Nope, actually Kyle Martinson's able to get through. So it looks like those cars listed with damage, those are going to be the ones that have the big damages. There was a little bit of contact between Dravicki and Bigley, but some cars, especially Josh Cottle, Jason Warren, they've got big damage on their race cars.
Yeah, and we're still early in this race, so that's a disappointing way to start this Icebreaker 200, get caught up in that. But Bill, pace car is off. We are double file. Thomas Axum going to take us back. Green flag racing here on lap 31. Axum gets to control this start, and looks like Huffman spun the tires a bit on the outside line.
Yeah, outside struggles as Huffman spins the tires. Here comes Max Cookman. Cookson, excuse me, as he gets sideways with, gets into Landon Huffman. They get sideways. Cars behind them crash.
Looks like Lapsevich went around in the 032. And there was some contact going down into turn 1 there, and Lapsevich just trying to avoid it, got turned around into the outside wall. He was running 4th on that restart. And when he saw Huffman sideways, he tried to drive up the racetrack. Unfortunately, Dalton Collins was coming with a full head of steam on the outside, and that turned Lapsevich up into the outside wall. So heavy damage for Lapsevich. Looks like Sean Hayes maybe got a piece of that as well.
Trying to see what happened with Cookson and Huffman as they went into turn 1. Looks like some net code between the 39 and the 75. I'm not sure if there would have been contact anyway. See if we get a good look at this. It's a tough one. Cookson didn't have much of a move as they went into turn 1. It just looks like the 39 wasn't going to... He was given no quarter. He wasn't alongside the 75. He had been alongside the 32 of Trayton Lapsevich, but just goes down into turn 1, and seems like he just barely gets there, but a ton of net code between those two cars.
Yeah, quite a big gap between them, and we talk about the net code being the iRacing predictive code. It tries to predict when these incidents would happen, and it looks like Max tried to back out of it. You can see him at the last second from the overhead views. It looks like he tried to slam on the brakes, and it just wasn't enough to let Landon Huffman clear, and it turned Landon Huffman sideways. He made a great save. He was able to hold on to it, but that 32 car of Trayton Lapsevich ended up getting the worst end of it for sure.
Yeah, Lapsevich he jumped on the brakes thinking there was going to be a wreck, and Dalton Collins was there in the 95 machine, really nowhere for him to go, and Lapsevich ends up head on into the wall. But like we said, shout out to Landon Huffman with a little bit of a wheelman stamp there as he gets super sideways and is able to save that 75 car and didn't even get to the turtles.
And shout out to TJ Chummy Esports there for that instant replay.
So we are lining back up too wide. So we got try to see what happened where Lapsevich ends up in his 32 machine. He's going to be on pit road in that 32 car. That might be the death. Now, there are lucky dogs. Dalton Collins parking the number 95 machine, so he is done for the evening, just 33 laps into this race. But Lapsevich on pit road getting repairs to that 32 machine. Like I said, there are lucky dogs in this race, so if we get enough yellows, you do have an opportunity to move forward. But big problems for Lapsevich early.
And we are going green. Thomas Axum takes him back green. This time, Max Cookson on the outside. Let's see if he's able to clear lane and Huffman into turn one. Huffman's not going to give him any room there. Huffman on the inside, battling side by side for second. A little bit further back, they are battling hard for fourth or fifth, actually, LP Lazier. And now we got a caution further back in the field. Looks like Corey Bigley is around, and I see John Piet as well spun around on the back straightaway.
Take a look and see what happened between those two drivers.
It looks like they were 3 wide through 1 and 2, and John Piet ended up making some contact with Corey Bigley. Corey had kind of slid through the field there. He was all the way back to the 20th position. And he started in the top 10 and just trying to ride a little bit and got himself into a bad spot there, 3 wide through 1 and 2.
It just looks like the 28 car just walks down the track just a little bit. Piet down around the bottom. You can see the 28 car kind of cross over the dotted line there. Piet staying down pretty much below it. And the 28 makes contact with the 5. The 5 noses are hard into the tires down at the beginning of the backstretch pit wall.
So Corey Bigley.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Corey Bigley going to rejoin at the rear of the field. We see some cars on pit road repairing some damage. John Piet, Caden Tufts, Cade Brown on pit road. Jason Warren still sitting on pit road. So lap 41 now under caution. Our second caution of this race. Actually, third caution of this race is we went about 35 laps caution-free, and then things have kind of come undone here off the rails, so to speak, as things starting to get heated up here 41 laps into this 200-lapper.
You know, we've talked about it before, Jeff. Cautions tend to breed cautions. They talk about it in NASCAR all the time, is when these guys, they get cooled out, they start to string out just a little bit, they tend to race each other pretty well, and when you get side by side with the guys and they're all bunched together, you want to be able to make up as many positions as you possibly can, and that's what these guys are doing at the moment. They're just trying to get forward as fast as they can, and sometimes that's at at the expense of the cars around them. They don't even care. It's just boom, boom, boom. So you're seeing that happen right now. Hopefully they'll cool it out and get back to some single file and more of a pick each other off as they go.
Well, pace car lights are still on. I think we're going to see them go out this time by. So let's talk about some of our sponsors that brought this IceBreaker 200 to a $650+ purse. Brett Suggs Racing and Marketing, TJ Chummy Esports, International Short Track Association. They gave $25 to Thomas Axum for his pull award last night. Brett Suggs 33 on Twitch. He's probably live streaming right now. Brett Suggs currently in this race running 8th, and if you wanted to see on board as well as watching our broadcast, you can always flip over to Brett Suggs 33 on Twitch. Of course, Revelry Racing and County Road Custom Millwork. We thank you all for your support, but Thomas Axum's about to send us green flag racing.
Axum going to bring the field to the green. He's got Max Cookson to his outside. Huffman back to third after that save. So swap the second and third positions after the restart. Now Huffman going to be to the bottom of Cookson, and we are yellow once again. We barely got across the start-finish line as cars are wrecking towards the back.
Yeah, AJ Rogers is around on the front straightaway, and it looked like possibly Tom Scully maybe spun the tires and came down the racetrack a bit. Ended up hooking AJ Rogers. Those guys just kind of got together coming to the green flag.
It looks like there's just contact. The 05 walks down the racetrack on that restart, gets into the right rear of AJ Rogers, and that puts AJ Rogers head on into the front stretch wall. Unfortunately, John Bajorquez gets caught in that as well.
Just not enough room there on that restart as Scully just kind of came down a little bit down that racetrack. So back under caution here, lap 46. Struggling to get back underway here. A couple early cautions. Looks like John Piette's going to pick up a lucky dog here in the 5 car. He's currently 1 lap down, so this will put him back on the lead lap. We'll have 26 cars still on the lead lap. Trayton Lapsevich. Looks like Lapsevich is back on the racetrack. He's 8 laps down. Dalton Collins out of this one. Jason Warren out of this one. And Matt Nicholson going to finish 30th here in this Icebreaker 200. He has called it a night.
These guys lining up single file, but Jeff, we do not have single file restarts turned on in this race, so these guys will line up double files. We head back to 1 to go. To make it 2 to go, they'll go 2 by 2.
Thomas Axum, Max Cookson, Landon Huffman, Alex McCullum, Caden Fisher, LP Lazier, Luke Baldwin, Brett Suggs, Kyle Martinson, and Sean Hayes are your top 10. Rick Rube currently running 11th, Blaze Brinkley 12th, Will Jervicki, Zach Owen, and Jonathan Sanford your top 15. Jeff Rivard currently running 16th, Shane Bedford. Shane Bedford started 30th. He's up to 17th, just keeping his nose clean right now. Caden Tufts 18th, Trevor Edwards 19th, Josh Cottle, your top 20 cars as they run currently.
So we are down 49 laps in this one, Jeff, and just about a quarter of the race in. Cars doubled up, ready to go green flag racing once again.
It'll be Thomas Axum taking him back green. I see a little bit of damage to the nose of Max Cookson's car. We'll see how that affects him here as they go on, and it looks like Axum's going to get away. Another great restart for Thomas Axum. Landon Huffman going to try to take back second place as he dives to the inside of Max Cookson.
Huffman to the inside of the 39 machine. They're going to be side by side down the back straightaway. Saw Caden Fisher just behind them in the 18. He didn't get off of turn 2 very well. That's going to put Alex McCollum up to 4th. Here comes LP Lazier on the outside as he's going to try to make a move on Caden Fisher. Can't make it happen, but he is possibly going to... Well, Luke Baldwin got into the Turtles entering turn 1. No harm, no foul as he's going to go to the top side. Here comes Brett Suggs.
Yeah, we talked about those Turtles, how they can launch you up front, though. Alex McCullum putting the pressure on Max Cookson as well. Now, Alex McCullum trying to take over 3rd. Cookson's going to shut the door. McCullum going to have to give him some room, and Cookson's going to hold on to 3rd for the time being.
Oh, boy, that is tight racing. Alex McCollum with that broken front end on that number 1 machine still has a ton of speed as he is on the back bumper of Max Cookson. Here comes Caden Fisher in the 18 machine. Cookson definitely looking in the rearview mirror as he did shut the door that last lap, but he's going to stay in 3rd place as they enter turn 1.
Caden Fisher up to the 5th spot now, right behind Alex McCullum. Behind them, LP Lazier, Brett Suggs, Luke Baldwin, and then about the 9th position, you got Kyle Martinson and Blaze Brinkley battling hard. Remember, Brinkley won our LCQ. He started 23rd tonight. He's already up to the 9th spot.
Blaze Brinkley on his way forward. Kyle Martinson was trying to make the move on him that last lap, and now we've got Rick Rube. He's sideways in turn 1. I believe he saved it. Cars spreading out all over the racetrack. I think we'll stay green as it looks like everybody's able to get through.
Yeah, Rube got turned around. It looked like he got a bump from Will Jervicki that turned Rube sideways. Now the caution is going to wave here. Looks like AJ Rogers went around, and caution's going to wave here on lap 54. Looks like maybe some contact with Corey Bigley sent AJ Rogers around, and
that's an interesting one, Jeff, as I'm looking back at the replay already. AJ Rogers kind of entered the corner high, never really got to the bottom, just kind of floating around in the middle, and Bigley went all the way to the bottom, got into the left rear. I think, honestly, we'd have to call our favorite saying around here on that one. I think you just got to avoid the guy in front of you, but it is a little bit odd that AJ didn't get all the way to the bottom.
Well, there was a situation going on there. Rick Rube had saved that car down the back straightaway, and he was off the pace on the inside. Cade Brown jumped to the outside of Rick Rube. I think AJ just wasn't really sure if Rick was up to speed or not. He tried to play it a little bit safe, went to the outside. That opened the door for Corey Bigley, and they just kind of met in the middle there.
Agreed. I think on a second look, kind of looking at Corey's kind of view there, looking through his cockpit, it definitely looks like AJ is going to stay to the top side, and then AJ just kind of sits in the middle. At first, when Corey decided to make that move, it was definitely open. So I think you're probably right. That was probably a meet in the middle situation. So probably more of a racing deal.
So back under caution here, lap 57, Thomas Axum still your leader. He's led every lap so far of this Icebreaker 200. Landon Huffman back to the second spot. Max Cookson, Alex McCullum, Caden Fisher, your top 5 drivers.
So, Jeff, we went from some super clean race cars for 30 laps, and now half the field has damage, if not more. Unfortunately, Alex McCullum is, I wouldn't say unfortunately, that's the wrong thing to say, but Alex McCullum is showing everybody that damage doesn't hurt you too bad, so everybody's willing to take some on.
Brian Page there watching, says he's watching Zach. I assume he means Super Zach Onan. Crystal Clark in the house. And Crystal, glad to have you back with us. One of our regulars on our Monday nights and Tuesday night series.
So these guys all circulating right now. There were some moves. There was some good racing there up towards the front, as you saw the Max Cookson, Alex McCullum battle. That's the battle for third. Up front, Thomas Axum just having his way, and the 13 machine really hasn't been challenged yet. Had a challenge from Landon Huffman or Max Cookson. But right now, Caden Fisher moving up to 5th. Good run for the 18 machine. LP Lazier there as well. Those are guys that actually LP Lazier came out of a heat race last night, so he's having a good run in that 72 machine. These guys are going to double up as we get 1 to green.
Looks like David Hall with us, cheering for the 11. That's Blaze Brinkley. Del Mears telling Zach to get up on the wheel. And Devin Landry here cheering for Max J. Cookson in the 39 car.
Thomas Axum, Landon Huffman on the front row. They're going to bring you back to the green flag. Axum has been out front all race long. Started on the pole. Huffman really hasn't given him too much of a challenge so far. This time, Huffman, a much better start than he's been having. He didn't spin the tires, so he's going to be to the outside Axum as we enter turn 1.
Yeah, great restart that time for Huffman. Timed it perfectly, and now he gets back into second. No pressure from behind as Cookson and McCullum are battling side by side for third. You got Caden Fisher and LP Lazier back there racing hard for 5th as well, and a little trouble further back in the field, but we're staying green flag racing at this point, and we're going to continue on. McCullum not giving up on that outside line. He is making Max Cookson work for it.
There was a big wreck off of turn 2. It looks like Kyle Martinson got a little bit sideways off of 2, cut across the nose of Sean Hayes, and was sent into the opening of the pit wall. We are yellow now.
Looks like AJ Rogers is around again. AJ just having a terrible time right now, and maybe some contact with John Bajorquez. Looks like Bajorquez just kind of got in there a little too deep, got into the back of the 17 of AJ Rogers, and poor AJ just can't catch a break right now in this Icebreaker.
Yeah, tough night so far for the 17 machine. Bajorquez just gets in there a little too hard, gets in the back of the 17 machine, and he goes around. Trying to figure out what happened to Kyle Martinson. I was going to take a look at that one again. That didn't bring out a yellow. The worst situation possible for the 07 machine is he unfortunately got hooked down the back straightaway. Just trying to figure out whether or not he came down or went up. But the worst place to ever spin here at Myrtle Beach Speedway is into the pit lane, because there is not going to be a yellow for you, and that's what happened to Kyle Martinson.
Yeah, Martinson currently sitting on pit road, so I'm not sure if Kyle's going to continue on or not. He's currently running 25th, 2 laps down, and just kind of sitting in the pits. Caden Tuff's coming back down pit road. He's going to repair some damage as well.
Yeah, just looking at that, doesn't look like Sean Hayes did anything wrong there. Kyle Martinson just got a little loose off of turn 2, shaded down a little bit, and they were side by side. Nothing Hayes could do. Rick Rube in the 81 machine, he's on pit road, going to try to fix some damage on the Jegs machine.
Tom Scully going to pick up a lucky dog. He's currently 3 laps down. That'll put him 2 laps down in the 25th position. Still 23 cars on the lead lap.
We didn't call it, Jeff, but it definitely feels like the price of poker went up at about lap 40.
Yeah, definitely everybody's picked up the pace a bit here, and I think some of these guys, after the damage, after those early wrecks, and all of a
lap
sudden,
40.
Yeah, yeah, it seems like everybody after the damage happened, they just all kind of decided, well, it's time to go now.
Yeah, it seems like a very early time to be going in a 200-lap race, and on lap 40 we're just going to go. But it seems like that's what's happening right now. The other part is these guys are all out on tires that have cycled a little bit. They wore them out. They got a little bit worse, and now the cars are driving a little bit different, especially early on in a run, something these guys probably don't expect. So guys checking up a little bit more than guys are used to, and we're getting some contact. Drivers lining up 2 by 2 as we've got the lights out on the pace car, 1 to go. They're on the backstretch. We will go green one more time. This time, Thomas Axum going to choose the outside. So an interesting starting strategy from the 13 machine.
Yeah, different, kind of interesting strategy. I think maybe Thomas saw Landon get a great restart last time, decided to try to mix it up, and he's going to get away this time. Going to clear the 75 of Landon Huffman into turn 1. Huffman back into the second spot. Cooks in third. Alex Mccullum back into fourth. Battle is on for fifth, though. Caden Fisher trying to get around LP Lazier. Can he bring the 7 of Luke Baldwin with him as well? He's lined up on the inside line in prime position there if Caden Fisher is able to move forward.
LP Lazier to the outside. He's got Brett Suggs behind him. Suggs is hoping the 72 machine can move as there's going to be contact in turn 1. Oh, and Sean Hayes caught up in that one in the 1 machine. Everybody else able to slide by. It was LP Lazier that had contact going into turn 1. It looked like possibly from Luke Baldwin. It also looked like there was a possible bit of netcode there. We'll have to take a look at it in the replay.
Well, that's going to fly the caution once again on lap 69, and I'm getting a good look at it.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, tons and tons of netcode there for LP Lazier. As he is well on the outside. Luke gave him tons of room, and unfortunately LP Lazier went around.
Yeah, that was a tremendous amount of netcode. Absolutely insane. That actually turned the 72 machine around, and unfortunate for him, he was caught by Brett Suggs just a little bit on the left front. Then Sean Hayes decided to miss the wreck high, which would have been the perfect place to go if Sean Hayes wouldn't, if LP Lazier hadn't been turned up from the contact from Brett Suggs, and that car ends up in front of him, and they slam into the outside wall together. So unfortunate for those two guys, big damage on their machines. This has become a rough and tumble race, and unfortunately for those guys, nobody was at fault right there. That was iRacing in its predictive code, and it was broken.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate one there for LP Lazier. He was having a fantastic run there in the top 5. Was hanging tough on the outside. He got put into a bad position there on that restart. Had to start on the outside and wasn't able to find his way down. He was just rolling the top, and unfortunately he ends up getting turned around because of it. So Thomas Axum, still your leader. Landon Huffman, Max Cooks, and Alex Mccullum. Caden Fisher, your top 5. Luke Baldwin, 6th. Blaze Brinkley, Brett Suggs, Trevor Edwards, Sean Hayes, your top 10. Will Jervicki now 11th. Super Zach Onan, 12th. Jeff Rivard, 13th. Josh Cottle, Jonathan Sanford, your top 15. Cade Brown into the 16th spot. Corey Bigley, John Piette, AJ Rogers, Rick Rube, your top 20 cars. LP Lazier currently running 21st. Caden Tufts and John Bajorquez was able to pick up a lucky dog in that last caution, so he's back on the lead lap in 23rd spot. Shane Bedford was on pit road. He is currently 1 lap down in 24th. And then looks like the 05 of Tom Scully, the third, he is currently running 25th, 2 laps down. I believe we lost Kyle Martinson officially, so he looks like he's going to finish 26th tonight. And unfortunate night for Kyle Martinson. Heat race winner last night, done early here in the IceBreaker 200.
Yeah, Kyle blasted that inside wall when he went into the pit lane, slid into the pit lane at almost 100 miles an hour and just basically T-boned. But that Mark Martin style, do you remember that when he T-boned the pit wall and it was not good? That's pretty much happened to Kyle Martin since that car was probably knocked all out of whack. He's loaded up on the trailer for the evening. Lights are out on the pace car. We're going to go back to 2 wide as we get ready to start this race back up. Puppy's in the booth. She never leaves me alone.
Thomas Axum going to be your race leader. He's going to choose the bottom this time. He maybe didn't like that top restart, and maybe just a little too close for comfort there for Landon Huffman. And Huffman going to restart on the outside this time. Axum on the inside. Let's see who gets the best restart. Axum is off and away. Huffman maybe spun the tires. That's going to open up the door for Cookson again to go for second.
We've seen Landon do that twice now on restarts as he spins the tires coming down the front straightaway. As you can see, Caden Fisher now going to try for third as they're going to be side-by-side down the back straightaway. Huffman thought about slamming the door, couldn't do it. Caden Fisher to the inside for third. They're going to be side-by-side coming off of 4.
Caden Fisher not able to make the pass there. Huffman's going to hold on. Fisher into the 4th spot. He's got McCullum on the outside of him. And then no look now, Blaze Brinkley. Brinkley came from deep in this field. He started 23rd tonight. He's up to 6th now.
Caden Fisher cleared Alex McCullum. McCullum crossed him over down the back straightaway. He'll be to the inside off of 4, but it looks like Fisher able to get the drive down the front straightaway. Here comes McCullum to the inside entering turn 1. A bit of a dive bomb move from Alex, but then he gives him a little bit of room through 1 and 2. A little bit farther back, you got Brett Suggs in the 33 machine. He's going to be side-by-side with Luke Baldwin. Those guys are battling for the 7th spot.
Suggs started 16th. He's up to 7th now. Just kind of having a quiet night, staying out of trouble, and starting to pick cars off now as Brett Suggs moves up into the 7th position. Trevor Edwards, who had some damage from an early incident, he's starting to work his way back forward as well. He's now up to 8th as Luke Baldwin kind of caught on the outside and no place to get down.
Hayes caught on the outside, does find a hole now as Sean Hayes wasn't able to get off turn 4. You can see the damage on that number 1 machine. He definitely needs to get some damage fixed on that car. That thing is squashed. We saw him in one of the earlier wrecks, but he is doing well still in the 10th spot. Back to 13th spot. There was some side-by-side action there, but Josh Cottle just made the move in that 31 car. He's going to clear Jeff Rivard. Here comes Cade Brown in the 16. He's going to look under Jeff Rivard going into turn 1.
Yeah, Rivard going to get hit a little bit. They're going into turn 1. He gathers it back up. Cade Brown, Jeff Rivard, these two have battled a lot in the Challenger Series this past season, and they are going at it hard here in the Icebreaker for the 13th spot right now. Corey Bigley behind him. He's trying to figure out which lane is going to go right now. Can Rivard hold out on the outside?
It is tough to hold that outside, especially with the net code we've seen twice tonight. It's caused 2 yellows. Rivard able to hang in there as they make a little bit of contact through 1 and 2. Here comes Corey Bigley down to the inside. Rivard going to sling it in turn 3, try to clear the 28 machine, but they're going to be side-by-side. The battle continues. That's going to be 14th.
Rivard trying to get down the racetrack, but Bigley is there. He's going to have to concede that spot as well. So now Rivard back to the 16th spot as Corey Bigley sneaks by. Now his teammate LP Lazier right in his mirror as well. Here comes LP trying to work his way back forward.
LP Lazier lets Rivard in, lets him cool out for just a little bit. Up front, here comes Max Cooks, and he is all over Thomas Axum for the lead as those 2 cars have broken away from Landon Huffman in 3rd. Cookson wants this top spot, wants to lead this race, putting pressure on Axum. The first pressure Axum's seen all night long.
Yeah, Axum has been out front for every single lap so far. Started on the pole. He has led 84 laps now at this point, and Max J. Cookson trying to get there, trying to take the lead away from Thomas Axum. And, man, we've seen Axum just be completely dominant here at ITZR this past season. Your reigning champion in the late model shootout series, and right now he's leading this Icebreaker 200.
Yeah, Axum doing a nice job in that 13 machine. Like you said, Jeff, we saw it a lot of times this last late model shootout series season, but Cookson, he wants this race. He wants to be able to get out there and dictate it just like Axum has been doing so far. So he's going to put all kinds of pressure on the 13 machine. You start to wonder about tires, Jeff. They do have a set in the bag, so they would have to, at some point, change those tires. You wouldn't be able to run all 200 laps on a set of tires. You would be done at the end of the night. But these guys definitely wearing them out. You can see Huffman falling back just a little bit, probably saving just a little bit of those iRacing Hoosier tires to try to make a run at these guys at some point.
Yeah, and you got to think the later you can take those tires, the better it's going to be for you. You don't want to get caught out there on using your set of tires too early. So it'll be interesting to see when drivers decide to make their pit stop as we're starting to come up about 10 laps to halfway.
Finally making our way towards the halfway mark of this race. 88 down right now. So they are circulating around here. The entire field is single file. No battles on the racetrack that we can see, so we'll stick with your leaders here as Max Cookson. We'll wait to see if he tries to make a move on the 13 machine. He did run all the way to the bumper and is kind of falling back just a little bit. I don't know if that's because the 13 picked up the pace or Cookson just wants to save a little bit of tire. But we'll see if he tries to grab the lead in this race.
They put nearly a second on Lane and Huffman, so these top two are starting to drive away from the rest of the field. Huffman still running third, and he's got them all lined up behind him. So Huffman kind of bringing the rest of the field along there, about 1 second behind your leaders.
Yeah, you're not kidding. The whole field is lined up behind that 75 machine. There's a couple of gaps, but for the most part, these guys are almost all in a giant line. It looks like Talladega out here, old Talladega, where you have a whole bunch of little packs together. But nobody kind of running by themselves. They're all stuck to one car stuck to another all the way through the field.
Caden Fisher running fourth right behind Landon Huffman, Alex McCullum, Blaze Brinkley. You can see Brinkley starting to try to make a move on Alex McCullum. That 11 car has got a ton of speed. He is driven through the field and starting to put the pressure on McCullum. Brett Suggs is there as well. Trevor Edwards back in the mix here. Trevor got caught up in that incident early on with Matt Nicholson as Nicholson was going a lap down, ended up causing a lot of damage to the 2 car, and Edwards really fighting his way back into this one.
I think Edwards did the smart thing. I think he went down pit road, got the repairs on that 2 machine. You can see it now. It looks pretty clean. So he's got that car running pretty well in that 2 machine, and he's putting some pressure on Brett Suggs now. Suggs with a little bit of damage on the right front of that 33 car might be hurting him just a little bit, but we've seen Alex McCullum had the most or the earliest damage in this race, and he's still circulating right around the 5th position.
And then there's that battle for your top 10 payout spots. Luke Baldwin currently running 9th, Sean Hayes 10th, and they've got Will Jervicki just kind of stalking them right now. Now, the 7 car turns sideways. Sean Hayes is going to get contact from Jervicki. He gets turned around. Looks like Cottle got some contact. Everybody's going to hold on. We're still green flag racing.
Some wild action right there. Cottle apologizing to Luke Baldwin. Got into him, so he's letting him know he was sorry for that. Sean Hayes had some issues in the 1 machine there. Will Jervicki did make a move. He was actually passing Zach Onen for position there, and he was able to squeeze through all that mayhem and pick up a couple more positions, so slot Jervicki into 10th.
Yeah, that's that final payout position there in that top 10. So Will Jervicki currently in that point. He'd get his money back, $15 to enter this race, and Will Jervicki would get at least his $15 back if he finishes 10th, but there's a lot of guys behind him that want that spot.
We appreciate all our wonderful sponsors that helped us out to put this race on, that those we can pay all the way back to the 10th position and give those guys their starting spot, or at least starting entry fee back, including our replay sponsor, TJ Chummy Esports.
Looking at the chat tonight, Eric Dickman cheering for Super Zach said he's hoping for a top 10 tonight. Zach currently running 11th, so he's right there. He's knocking on the door. He just needs one more, and currently that's Will Jervicki in front of him. Joel Maddox cheering for Jonathan Sanford, the Sandman.
The Sandman?
That's a new nickname for us. We haven't heard that one.
I think we got another one. What do you think?
I like it. Sanford in the 2-1-2, currently running 21st. He's got Rick Rube just ahead of him in the 20th spot. Shane Bedford behind him in 22nd. Actually, scratch that. Shane Bedford is actually 1 lap down in the 24th position. Bajorquez currently running 22nd.
We just hit the halfway mark. Corey Bigley just had a moment on the back straightaway. It looked like he got into the back straightaway wall. It slowed that number 28 machine up, and the 272s were able to avoid him. So Jeff Rivard, LP Lazier, they go by. Slot Bigley back to the 17th spot, just a little bit behind them. Jonathan Stanford underneath AJ Rogers. He's looking to make a move. That's a battle for 20th.
Thomas Axum's trying to stretch that lead out front. He's opened it up a bit over Cookson. It's about 0.3 of a second. Then 1.4 back to Landon Huffman, as Huffman has kind of lost touch with these top 2. These guys have starting to drive away, and you got to wonder if Huffman's just kind of riding, saving tires right now, hoping for a yellow to bunch them back together.
TJ Bushy says, let's go Blaze. Well, Blaze is having a good race so far as he's running 6th in that 11 machine. Won the LCQ last night in the 11 car, and he's been moving forward from the beginning of this race all the way up to 6th. We saw Jeff in his heat race. He had some issues which put him in the LCQ. Then he was able to win that race, and he's shown all kinds of speed tonight.
Yeah, Blaze is really just charged through this field. As we said, started 23rd, started deep in the LCQ as well, was able to win that race, and he's looking to have a really strong run here in the Icebreaker. Looking good right now in the 6th spot.
John Piet in the 5 machine going a lap down on the racetrack, gets out of the way of the leaders as he sees Axum and Cookson go by, he'll slot in between Cookson and Huffman, as Huffman falling back just a little bit farther from Cookson. Now Huffman got a gap on Caden Fisher right behind them, Alex McCullum and the aforementioned Blaze Brinkley right behind them, and you've got Brett Suggs in the 33, and it looks like, who is that? It looks like that's Trevor Edwards in the 2 that's right behind Brett Suggs, and then you've got another gap to the rest of the field.
John Piet going a lap down, gets passed by Blaze Brinkley. Brett Suggs going to be the next car to go by him. And now the caution's going to wave here. Lap 106, just past halfway. And it looks like Caden Tufts is around in turn 3. And you see that 88 car sitting backwards there. Maybe some contact. Looks like maybe Jeff Rivard got into the outside wall. And him and Caden Tufts got together, and Tufts went around.
I don't want to say tough break for a guy that's last name is Tufts, but that was a tough break for the 88 cars. It was not of his doing. Jeff Rivard just got into the outside wall coming off of turn 2. We saw some guys struggling with that last night as this car kind of pushes a little bit off of turn 2. He got on the outside wall, it checked up, and he got in the right rear of the 88 machine, and unfortunately Tufts into the outside wall in turn 3. That car, a little bit of damage on the 88. Not terrible, but definitely lost some positions.
Well, Thomas Axum has hit pit road. Max Cookson going to follow him. Landon Huffman, Caden Fisher coming down pit road. I assume this means they are going to take tires right here. Alex McCullum chooses to stay out. Blaze Brinkley will stay out as well. Luke Baldwin out on the racetrack. Cade Brown out on the racetrack. And just about everybody else is going to come down and take tires.
I see Josh Cottle on pit road. You got Corey Bigley on pit road. The 72 machines, Rivard and Lazier, both on pit road. Caden Tufts, after his issues, he's on pit road changing tires. Brett Suggs is changing tires. So this is the tire stop. That long run scared everybody. Now everybody wants some fresh rubber on the machines.
Looks like Axum's going to beat everybody off pit road with those fresh tires. Max Cookson is going to end up second. Landon Huffman third. Caden Fisher fourth. Looks like Trevor Edwards going to be the fifth car off pit road with new tires. Will Dravicki was able to beat out Josh Cottle and Brett Suggs. Looked like kind of a slow stop for Suggs. He lost quite a few spots there in that 4-tire stop.
So it looks like only 5 cars, Jeff, that stopped, or that chose not to stop. Looks like Axum going to roll off in 6th for this restart. So these guys all getting back out on the racetrack, finding their positions on within the field. Looks like John Piet picked up the lucky dog that time in the 5 machine. So now it looks like Axum will actually slot into 5th with his new tires. So only 4 cars choosing to stay out on the racetrack. They will have 108 lap old tires. So the rest of the guys all picked up fresh rubber. They all went in and pitted their race cars. So we've got 4 guys that have chosen to hold their tires till later. They're going to wait and see if they can find a yellow later to change out and get a fresh set.
Well, and that'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because they will need a yellow now to get those tires. So Alex McCullum, Blaze Brinkley, your front row now for this restart. The first time we've seen anybody but Thomas Axum lead a lap. Alex McCullum going to be your new leader.
Side by side down into turn 1 for 3rd. It's going to be Luke Baldwin and Cade Brown. Those are 2 guys that don't have new tires. They're going to be side by side entering turn 3. That battle's going to hold everybody with new tires up. So they're all going to be stacked up behind those 2 guys as they battle for the 3rd spot.
And Landon Huffman's going to try to get aggressive there. He's going to get to the inside of Thomas Axum. He's putting the pressure on the 13. The little contact, Axum is involved. Cade Brown is spinning. Man, 3 wide there behind the slower cars on older tires, and Cade Brown ends up getting turned around.
Take a look at what happened there. It looked like Landon Huffman got really aggressive in the 75. Take a look and see the drivers talking to each other on the radio.
You can see it. Landon Huffman he made the move. Looked like Thomas Axum got up the racetrack. Huffman dived to the inside. They were 3 wide, and just an aggressive move there. Huffman able to hold on, but Thomas Axum ends up getting up the racetrack into the 16 of Cade Brown. Brown ends up getting the worst end of it.
I just think that is a racing deal, Jeff. I can't see anything that Huffman really did wrong. Axum was up the racetrack. It's an ultra aggressive move, but I don't. He gets to just about the door of Axum before. That is extremely tough. I just feel like that it's a really aggressive move. So do you penalize him for being ultra aggressive? I mean, the door was open.
Yeah, I think that's a situation there. I don't think Huffman necessarily did anything wrong. I think it was more Axum is a little upset that he just wasn't more patient. I don't think Axum was trying to set up those two slower cars. I think he was trying to open up his corner entry, trying to get a run down the back straightaway, and Landon Huffman decided, you know what, I'm going to take advantage of this, and I'm just going to go by you. And Axum in that situation, I think, is just a little frustrated that Landon wasn't more patient. I don't think he necessarily thinks Landon did anything wrong there. It just I think he's just looking for a little bit more respect there.
Yeah, I can absolutely agree with being frustrated with that kind of move. I mean, that is an ultra aggressive move from the 75 of Landon Huffman, but that's maybe something you need to do to try to win a race like this. I mean, he went 3 wide, the door was open. Axum had gone up the racetrack just a little bit, but he did make the move. He saw a little bit of space and went down there. There was nowhere for Axum really to go. I mean, he had Cade Brown above him. For the most part. I mean, that was just going to be a really, really tough move. I think that's just a matter of everybody just being a little bit too aggressive. So we'll see. Axum didn't lose a lot, and I don't think he got any damage. I think the person that really had an issue with that was Cade Brown, but I believe Cade ended up taking tires now anyway, so a little bit of a no harm, no foul from that situation, as these guys will all be really close on tires now as they only went about a half lap under green.
So it looks like we're going to get the pace car lights out this time. It looks like we did see Alex Mccullum and some of those other drivers come down pit road. So they're going to have a little bit fresher tires, but they sure gave up a lot of track position to have a couple, maybe 1 lap extra tire. So we'll see how that plays out for them. But Landon Huffman, Trevor Edwards now on your front row.
Huffman now going to control the start as you see him get a really nice jump. Trevor Edwards on the outside didn't get a great jump, but he's going to clear Thomas Axum as they enter turn 1. Here comes Axum into 1. Here comes Cottle on the outside of the 31 machine. First time we've talked about him all night. He's doing a good job as he's going to be side by side with Axum down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Cottle had a pretty quiet first half of this icebreaker, ran just outside the top 10, but he has found his way up the front now. But Horkhead sideways in turn 3, contact. And now we've got a yellow. Yellow's going to wave as Sean Hayes. AJ Rogers involved as well. And poor AJ Rogers just having a terrible night. He's been involved in just about every wreck, and none of them his fault.
Trying to figure out what exactly happened in Bajorquez as he was sideways through turns 3 and 4.
It looks like LP Lazier might have been trying to get underneath the 032, while the 1 car of Alex Mccullum was also trying to get around him, and it just kind of stacked everything up going into turn 3.
I'm wondering if LP Lazier was taking a look in the mirror as they went into the corner there, as he just gets in, and that's not something we usually see from LP, as he went in and just tagged the back of the 32 machine.
Yeah, I think Alex Mccullum was making that move up the inside, and LP tried to give him a little bit of extra room. I think he realized it was going to be tight, and there just wasn't enough space for him to go anywhere else, as the 88 was on the outside of him, Bajorquez right in front of him, and they just kind of all get together in turn 3.
Unfortunately, John Piette, Sean Hayes, and AJ Rogers all end up piling into the 32 machine, who was stopped on the racetrack. Nowhere for those drivers to go. So 124 down as we run. Just over 75 laps remaining in this 200-lap race. And Jeff, I believe we could call it now. The price of poker has definitely gone up.
Yeah, you love to say it, and this is about the time right now. Just past halfway.
I do love to say it.
Yeah, things have started to pick up for sure, and you can see the tempers are starting to flare. Guys are starting to get a little frustrated with one another, and now's the time you might win the race. And I think that was back in that previous incident with Thomas Axum and Landon Huffman. That's what Landon Huffman said to Thomas is that could be the move to win the race. So he had to go for it. And maybe he didn't think he could beat Thomas Axum in a long run. Heads up, he needed that track position. He needed to get ahead of him.
Yeah, the door was open. He walked into it, regardless if it was an ultra aggressive or a crazy move there. It was open, and he went in there, and now he's leading this race. Not really the way he probably wanted to take the lead, but it definitely worked out.
Well, pace car is on pit road. Landon Huffman, Trevor Edwards controlling this start. Landon Huffman on the inside. He gets off and away. A little earlier start than we've seen from anybody, but it worked for Huffman.
Trevor Edwards able to clear going into second place. Here comes Axton in third. Cottle to the outside. He's going to be running fourth. That's the same thing we saw last time. Here's Cookson in the 39, and Cottle caught a little bit of the wall as they went down the back straightaway. Right behind him, Caden Fisher had to check up. Here comes Brett Suggs in the 33.
Suggs trying to get to the inside of Caden Fisher. Fisher tried to come down the racetrack. Not enough room there. Now he's going to slot in behind Suggs. So Suggs up to the 7th position now. Actually make that the 6th spot for Brett Suggs. Axum is underneath Trevor Edwards down the front straightaway. The 13 car is looking for second, and the caution is going to wave. LP Lazier is around in turn 4. Looks like he's going to continue on. Just got turned around. Doesn't look like a whole lot of damage there on that 72.
This looks like the 11 machine of Blaze Brinkley. Looked like Blaze was really loose off of turn 2. They went down into turn 3. Not sure there was much room there. Just looks like the 11 just got into the 72, Jeff. We have a saying around here.
Yeah, that's a C car, don't hit car kind of situation there. And it looked like Blaze, I think he was trying to do that over-under, came from the top, had a big run, and LP just kind of kept that car pinned to the bottom, and Blaze was trying to get underneath him, and there just wasn't going to be enough room there for that move. And Blaze, unfortunately, gets into the back of the 72, sends LP around.
So Blaze Brinkley going to get the EOL from Race Control. So he got into the back of the 72 machine of LP Lazier. It's unfortunate for the 11 car. Still some time in this race, 70 laps remaining. He could rally, try to get a good finish in the 11. I'm sure we're not done with incidents out here. I hate to say it. Cade Brown going to be your lucky dog in the 16 machine.
Yeah, Cade Brown going to get a lap back here. We're currently running 23rd, and I think this will move him back on the lead lap in the actually 22nd position as Jonathan Sanford is one lap down, came down pit road, it looks like. Justin Thompson in the house with us watching. Justin says it looks choppy tonight. How's the race been going so far? And so far things have been going pretty well, but things are getting a little more aggressive as we get further into this 131 laps in, and things have really started to pick up. As Bill would say, the price of poker has gone up.
Yeah, most definitely. We can see that that's clearly happening on the racetrack. It's what that means, if people have never heard us say that before, is that the what do they call it? The give a hecameter. What is that called? It's kind of gone to nothing. Everybody's just going to take what they can get and go as hard as they possibly can. We call that the price of poker going up. It's the same thing as the blinds going up on a game of poker when things start to get serious. As you've been playing for a little while, and now it's time to go. So that's what you're seeing in this race right now. You're seeing guys being quite a bit less patient with each other, and the give and take has kind of gone out the window. So these guys they're just going to race it out here for the last about 67, 66 laps or so.
And just about everybody on equal tires at this point. Landon Huffman, Trevor Edwards, Thomas Axum, Max Cookson, Josh Cottle, Brett Suggs, your top 6 drivers. Caden Fisher back in 7th. Zach Onan into 8th. Will Dravicki 9th. Corey Bigley back into the top 10. We saw him deep in the field. Alex McCullum back where he started in the 11th position. So a lot of work for Alex McCullum if he wants to win this race. Pace car is off. Landon Huffman gets to control this start one more time.
Huffman on the go pedal. He's going to get another good start. Trevor Edwards on the outside. He might be able to clear Axum. It's going to be tight going into turn 1. Axum shoves it in there. Edwards gives him the room. They're going to be side by side off in turn 2, but we get the yellow. His car's in the back, running into each other again, unfortunately.
McCullum and Will Dravicki got together going into turn 1. It looked like a pretty aggressive, pretty aggressive move there. As Alex kind of shoved it up the inside there, and just not enough room.
See what happened here. McCullum with a aggressive move gets into the 30 car. That turns him completely sideways in front of the field. Yeah, that was not the kind of move you want to do if you're trying to make a move on somebody. That I'll take a look and see when Alex actually gets side by side with the 30 car. But to me, that just looked like a dive bomb situation. Well, he was there for a bit, Jeff. We got to make a determination here. He was up to the door before they made contact.
That is a really tough one. I just don't see how Alex was going to make that corner with Will where he was. Will's clearly going to the bottom, staying on the bottom of the racetrack, and Alex just kind of shoved it up the inside there.
I agree. There's he gets up there a lot, but that let's check out his line. I'm not in a, yeah. I mean, he's really far up the inside by the time they make contact. Like you said, it looks like McCullum does make the corner. I mean, he stayed right to the white line. I don't know if that was. Well, he does drift up eventually, doesn't he? I mean, that's a tough call. I don't like the move, but I think we gave Landon the benefit of the doubt because he went into a door that was open. McCullum gets there as well. Unfortunately, here at Myrtle Beach, anybody can do that. That's the way that corner works.
Yeah, unfortunate situation there for Will Dravicki. He was running in the top 10 there. It gets turned around. Will down pit road, going to try to repair some of that damage, rejoin at the rear of the field, and just a tough situation there in the top 10. Everything's starting to get a little bit more aggressive. Alex McCullum trying to make a move back to the front, ends up getting around, getting the 30 car turned around there. It looks like Alex is going to move up into the 9th position now. So it looks like pace car lights are out, so it'll be Huffman and Trevor Edwards once again. Looks like Elliot Carlson in the house with us, and another one of those guys I think that should be racing with us. And I'm not sure why Elliot's not here with us tonight.
Yeah, the Joker watching instead of driving.
So Landon Huffman, Trevor Edwards, your top 2 right now. Thomas Axum, Max Cookson in 3rd and 4th. Brett Suggs up to that 5th spot. That'll move Josh Cottle back into the 6th spot. Huffman goes early once again, catches Edwards off guard. Edwards did not get a great restart. They're going to be 3 wide at the start-finish line.
Oh, Edwards had a really bad restart. When he did go, he spun the tires. That car was wiggling all over the place. Axum to the inside. They're going to be side by side. Now, Cookson did look to the outside, couldn't make it happen, but he's going to be side by side with Brett Suggs as they're battling. And Caden Fisher gets a little bit of a tap going into turn 3, saves it, but they're 3 wide off of 4.
Yeah, trouble there for Caden Fisher. Looks like he maybe got some help from Alex McCullum. McCullum is getting aggressive now. Now Edwards up the racetrack. Little contact from Axum, but Edwards saves it. We're going to continue on racing. Axum up into 2nd. Trevor Edwards is going to lose a bunch of spots as Brett Suggs moves into 3rd now.
Crazy racing happening throughout the field. Here comes Zach Onan in the OA car. He's going to look underneath Caden Fisher. That's a battle between teammates. Also a battle for that 9th position as they're trying to move forward. Up front, we've got guys that are all single file now as Landon Huffman putting some distance on Thomas Axum.
Yeah, Huffman was able to get away on that restart. Now Blaze Brinkley sideways in 3 and 4. He's going to spin, and the caution waves once again. Lap 142. Brinkley is turned around. Looks like Jeff Rivard and Blaze Brinkley got together in the middle of 3 and 4. And then Brinkley gets turned around.
I think they kind of just meet in the middle a little bit. I don't think there's a ton of... There's a little bit of netcode. That's the reason that he gets slammed around. Netcode is a little bit finicky. When it finally decides to make contact, it doesn't just tap you. It spins you. And that's why that 11 car snapped so hard sideways. I think those are just two cars that kind of meet in the middle. Rivard on the bottom shades up just a little bit. But, I mean, he's basically running the low line there. You can see the car in front of him. He's down there.
Yeah, and I think when you look at it from that kind of chase camera, drone camera that we have there, it almost looks like Brinkley is starting to come down the racetrack a bit. As they make contact, you can see Brinkley's left side tires are on that white line, and it's just a bit tight there. The 72, I don't see him going across the white line. He gets it up to the white line.
But, I think it's just cars moving at each other, just really tight racing. And I think netcode, when you're that tight, that's what happens.
I think that's just a situation when you're the outside car, you got to leave a little bit of room. I know you're trying to pinch that inside car down, but it puts yourself in a really dangerous position there. And unfortunately for the 11 of Blaze Brinkley, he ends up getting turned around there.
Yeah, I think the best view of that one is to watch it from Rivard's inboard on-car camera. In-car camera, he definitely is holding the bottom there, just rolling around the bottom. And Brinkley looks like he's doing just fine up top. But like you said, if you're gonna be that close, you definitely put yourself in a danger and kind of give it up to the iRacing gods and see what happens with netcode. And then there you can see if it doesn't work out for you, you can see what happens. The race control going to let the drivers know what happened. So we're closing in on 50 to go in this race. Started out, we've had some decent runs. We had a really nice green flag run to start the race, and a couple of incidents in the middle, and a couple of green flag runs kind of in the middle there. And now it's getting a rough and tumble time. 50 laps remaining in this race. These guys racing for the big dollars. Right now, Landon Huffman in that catbird seat. Thomas Axum dominated the early part of this race. A restart kind of caught him out. And now he's going to be to the outside of the 75 machine. So a battle coming down. And watch that 33 machine. Brett Suggs, one of our sponsors of this event, has sponsored us twice. We really appreciate that. But Brett Suggs Racing and Marketing, and also his Twitch channel at Brett Suggs 33. He's in third position, so watch that car. That car's clean. There's no damage on that machine.
Yeah, he's had just a real quiet night, just running in the top 5 now, and has just been there getting his way to the front at the end of this race when it matters. So we'll see what Brett Suggs has as we go on. Landon Huffman going to get a great restart once again. Suggs able to take advantage. Can he get to second? Cookson's going to drop down to third. Contact with Edwards. Edwards is going to go around.
Wow, that was just absolute mayhem entering turn 1. It looked like Cookson dove to the bottom. He was looking to slot into that hole. Looks like Edwards didn't get a really great restart, but at the same time, Cookson getting super aggressive in the 39. Gets a tap. Edwards lifts to try not to hit him, and then that causes issues behind him. Unfortunately, Alex McCullum hit the wall head on entering turn 1. We've Caden Fisher's involved with that one as well.
Yeah, I think Cookson, when he came down the racetrack, it stacked up Trevor Edwards. Edwards got on the brakes. Josh Cottle, Caden Fisher, the guys behind him weren't able to react, and Edwards ends up getting turned around there. As he lifted for the 39 of Cookson, and he ends up paying the price for it. Kind of unfortunate for him. He just had to check up for the 39. Yeah,
so a lot of cars caught in this one. Blaze Brinkley got a piece of it late. Jeff Rivard in the 72 caught in this one as well.
Yeah, a lot of good cars getting caught up in that one. Mccullum has gone ahead and called it a night, and he is a little frustrated right now with that situation.
Will Dravicki with big damage in the 30 machine. That just to me looks like a racing deal, Jeff. It was the situation between Cookson and Trevor Edwards. Edwards could have realized that Cookson was clear. The guy's going to make the move. These guys race with each other constantly. Cookson's going to fill that hole, and Edwards kind of act like he was a bit surprised. So he checks up late. Cottle nowhere to go as he's kind of just following the 2 machine. Trevor Edwards. So that I think it's just a situation where guys just being ultra aggressive. That's not, I mean, if you're in real cars in real life, it's foolish. You're going to wreck each other, but they do that with those things anyway. So these cars going to line up 2 by 2, probably going to get lights out on the pace car. The rest of the field trying to figure out where they're supposed to be. So many cars wrecked there that iRacing Scoring is trying to get these guys lined up. But we've got lights out on the pace car once again. 46, actually it'll be 45 laps as we come back to the green. Actually make that 46. I can't count. Don't worry about it. Math is tough.
Landon Huffman, Brett Suggs, now teammates on that front row. This time it'll move Thomas Axon back to 3rd, Max Cookson 4th, Josh Cottle 5th, Caden Fisher 6th, Luke Baldwin back into 7th, Corey Bigley 8th, AJ Rogers 9th, Shane Bedford 10th. And AJ Rogers, man, he's had a heck of a night, been caught up in a bunch of stuff. He's back in the top 10 now. Landon Huffman is off and away, and looks like Brett Suggs is going to clear Axum for 2nd.
Suggs into the 2nd position. Axum going to slot into 3rd. Cookson in 4th. Here comes Josh Cottle in the 31 machine. Caden Fisher to the outside in the 18, trying to battle to take that 5th spot. Here comes Luke Baldwin in the 7. A little bit of contact maybe between Cottle and Fisher. Fisher going to slide at the racetrack. Here comes Luke Baldwin in the 7 car.
Suggs last time by down the back straightaway got a huge run, was able to pull alongside Landon Huffman, could not get to him by turn 3, and he's going to fall back into 2nd spot. Axum back there in line with Cookson, Cottle, your top 5 all lined up. Luke Baldwin back there as well. Caden Fisher, Corey Bigley now up into the 8th spot.
Looking back just a little bit, Trevor Edwards having issues in the 2 machine. He might be done. He loads it up on the trailer right there, just pulled over and parked. So the 2 car done. Trevor Edwards, not the night he was looking for. A little farther back, Sean Hayes, Rick Rube, they're battling side by side. That's a battle for the 13th spot. Brett Suggs on the move in that 33 machine, trying to win this one as he has moved his way forward out of the heat race last night. Finished 3rd in the heat race. So he started about the middle of this field, and he is all over Landon Huffman as they enter turn 1.
Yeah, he is certainly putting the pressure on Huffman right now. He has been getting some big runs off the corners. And, oh, now he gets the wall, the 33 into the outside wall down the back straightaway. Axum tried to take advantage. Suggs kind of came down the racetrack to shut the door. He's going to hold on to 2nd.
Axum playing nice. Now he's going to look to the bottom. Can't make the move. He'll let Brett Suggs clear going into turn 1. Axum going to slot in. Cookson there. Cottle there. Those guys all under a blanket as they are looking to get to Landon Huffman. Landon Huffman holding the pretty wheel out front, doing a great job in the 75 car.
Axum putting all of the pressure on Brett Suggs right now. Suggs trying to chase back down Landon Huffman. He had a great run last time, or a couple laps ago. Almost got underneath the 75. We'll see how aggressive he gets here as time is starting to tick away in this 200 lapper.
Just under 40 laps remaining in this race. Brett Suggs getting back to the 75 machine. He's putting the pressure on Landon Huffman. Thomas Axum there as well. If you were here with us through the whole race, Thomas Axum dominated the earlier portion of this event. And now Cottle issues down the back straightaway. He'll spin entering turn 3.
Josh Cottle is around into turn 3. The 31 is spun, and that is going to bring out a caution on lap 162. And Cottle looks like he just caught the wall down the back straightaway. Nowhere to go for Luke Baldwin, and Baldwin just kind of finishes off the 31.
The Caudle had issues on the back straight. It looks like he just got caught, and the wall just grabbed him. The car wouldn't get off of it. It started to spin, and then Luke Baldwin just nowhere to go. Caden Fisher gets through. Corey Bigley gets through. Nobody else hit the 31 machine, but Luke Baldwin, big damage on the 7 car.
Yeah, a lot of front-end damage to the 7 of Luke Baldwin. And he's another driver having a great run, currently running 5th now, but we'll see how that damage affects his car down the stretch here. A lot of damage to the 7.
That was getting pretty exciting there, Jeff. Was starting to be fun to watch. Unfortunately, Josh Caudle just a bit of an issue on his own there on the back straightaway. He was having a great run in the 5th spot. Looks like he's probably going to be close to done for the. We'll take a look at the 31 machine and see what he is up to. He's kind of just filed back into the back of the field, but a lot of damage on 31 car.
Yeah, Caudle going to continue on. Looks like Jeff Rivard, John Bajorquez is going to come down pit road. John Piette got a lucky dog that time by. So John Piette back on the lead lap. 19 cars on the lead lap right now. Piette having a solid run. He's just kind of stuck with it tonight. A little damage on that 5 car, but he's out there making laps and currently back up into 19th now.
So we'll set the field for everyone that is currently watching. Landon Huffman leads this race. Brett Suggs 2nd. Thomas Axum 3rd. Matt Cookson in 4th. Luke Baldwin running 5th. Caden Fisher in the 6th position. Corey Bigley running 7th. AJ Rogers 8th. Boy, AJ Rogers has had a night, and he is up in the top 10. Blaze Brinkley running 9th. Sean Hayes running 10th in that number 1 machine, and it is at a night as well. You can see the damage on that 1 car. Shane Bedford 11th, Rick Rube 12th, Jonathan Stanford 13th, Caden Tufts 14th, Zach Oden 15th, Josh Caudle back to 16th, John Piette 17th, John Bajorquez 18th, and Jeff Rivard will be the last car on the lead lap. Tom Scully still circulating out there. He is 2 laps down, and I believe Trevor Edwards, he's actually back out on the racetrack in that 2 car, 8 laps down.
I want to give a shout out to Shane Bedford, who started 30th in this race tonight. He's currently running 11th. He wasn't actually sure if he was even going to race tonight because he has a broken steering wheel. The belt is broken on that steering wheel, so there is no feedback whatsoever. The wheel doesn't center itself. It just is kind of a dead wheel, and he decided he's just going to try and see what he can get out of it. Currently
First
running
world
11th.
problems, Jeff. First world problems. We've all raced with no force feedback before.
But pace car is off. Landon Huffman, Brett Suggs on that front row. Thomas Axon, Max Cookson in the 2nd row on this restart. Huffman waiting a little bit longer, and it looks like Axum spun the tires. Cookson is going to get away from Axum. Can he get down in the line? Now Cookson's sideways into turn 1.
Wow, Cookson got really sideways. Looked like he might have gotten into the back of Brett Suggs. That made his car a little bit loose. As wow, there's a battle. Sean Hayes shot through the middle between AJ Rogers and Corey Bigley. Sean Hayes moves up. So you've got Caden Fisher to the outside of Thomas Axum. Axum struggling late here in the 13 machine.
Yeah, Axum just did not get a great restart. Ended up costing him a position. Now Luke Baldwin underneath Caden Fisher. This is a battle for 5th. Fisher on the outside. Baldwin sideways. Here comes Sean Hayes on the outside now.
Sean Hayes watching Luke Baldwin struggle. He cooked that right rear off of turn 2. You can see him get loose getting into turn 3. Here comes Corey Bigley in the 28 machine. Hayes up to 6 in the 1.
Battle for the lead as Brett Suggs took a peek into turn 1. Wasn't able to get there on Huffman. Had to back out of it. He's got pressure from the 39 at Cooks, and this one is not over yet. About 30 laps to go, and they cross the line. Landon Huffman still your leader.
Blaze Brinkley just made the move on Luke Baldwin. Luke Baldwin with that damage from that issue with Josh Caudle. He's got all kinds of problems in that 7 machine as he has slipped back to 9th spot. Blaze Brinkley up to 8th. Just behind them, Caden Tufts rallying from his spin just not long ago as he's going to pass AJ Rogers. That's the battle for the top 10.
Cookson putting pressure on Brett Suggs right now. Suggs going to take another look down the inside of Landon Huffman. Can't quite get there. Got a little loose on entry as well. Will that open up the door for Cookson down the back straightaway? Cookson going to dive it into turn 3.
Here comes Max Cookson. It's go time as he's going to slam the door. Wow, they're going to door each other through turns 3 and 4. Cookson just drove it in there. Suggs came across and said something. I didn't hear it, but Cookson up to P2. I'm sure Suggs isn't happy.
Little bit of a hit check there, and the gloves are about to come off as Max Cookson gets into the 2nd spot. Suggs falls back into 3rd. Thomas Axum just kind of watching this all happen in front of him, trying to get back up to your top 3 cars, and And Caden Fisher as well starting to reel these guys back in as well. So we got a 5-horse race here to the finish of this one.
Yeah, these 5 cars are under a blanket. Corey Bigley running second, falling back behind these guys just a little bit. But here we go as the top 4 right there. Here comes Caden Fisher in the 18. Cookson looking to put pressure on Landon Huffman for P1.
Cookson is there. He is knocking on the back bumper of Landon Huffman. Huffman just doesn't quite have the speed that Cookson and Thomas Axum have shown, but can he hold on now to the inside? The 39 dives into the inside. Looks like he's going to take the lead off turn 4. Will he bring Brett Suggs with him?
Cookson ran Landon Huffman up the racetrack. They gave Brett Suggs opportunities. He's going to get in the back of the 39 car. A little bit of payback from Brett Suggs. They're going to be side by side down the backstretch. Axum and Huffman side by side for third.
Suggs is going to get into the side of the 39. Now Cookson up the racetrack. Huffman gets hit. Huffman's going to spin off turn 4.
Wow, so Huffman, the odd man out as he made contact with the 39 machine. Cookson looked like he just drove right to the right rear and just hooked the 75 machine as they made contact. Everybody was banging each other up there up front, and it was Huffman that might have gotten into the back of the 39. Cookson did not like that as he got in the right rear of the 75, and the 75 into the outside wall for turn 4.
So Huffman and Cookson got together. Kind of a weird incident there. Hard to call that one when the 39 kind of ended up inside the 75.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's weird how they were like hooked together. Boy, oh boy, I haven't seen anything like that in iRacing in a while as the 39 just kind of went inside the 75, but when he came out, 75 just shot up the racetrack.
Yeah, and it was just a few laps ago, Landon Huffman was leading this race, thinking maybe he could hold them off, and now all of a sudden he ends up in the outside wall. And
yeah, I feel like Huffman got into the 39 in the middle of the corner. I mean, that's just rough racing, tight racing between all those guys. The 39 was sideways the entire time.
yeah, these drivers
strange.
not happy right now. These guys are a little upset right now. But we are under caution here on lap 180. And Bill, I don't know if you noticed, but the weather has kind of changed here. All of a sudden, the clouds have kind of moved over, and that's going to change the way this setup in this car feels here at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, for sure. For the last 20 laps, we're going to see some interesting racing. We'll probably get a little bit of cool down to this racetrack. Hopefully that'll help cool down some of these tempers, Jeff. I don't know if you're hearing what I'm hearing, but this has been pretty chirpy for about the last 3 caution laps.
Yeah, there's been some guys that have been unhappy with each other since about halfway through this race, and things have just kind of boiled over here as things have started to get towards the end of this one. Remember, $250 on the line to the winner, plus a championship tumbler courtesy of County Road Custom Millwork. So a lot of good prizes on the line, and these guys are they're fighting for it tooth and nail at this point. So pace car is off. Brett Suggs, Thomas Axum, your front row. Caden Fisher has found himself in the 3rd spot. Suggs is off and away. Looks like Axum is going to get back to 2nd. Can Caden Fisher hold on for 3rd with Cookson on the outside? Behind them, here comes a battle. Here comes Corey Bigley and Blaze Brinkley. These two have battled back from the rear of the field to now have a battle for the top 5.
Caden Fisher underneath Max Cookson battling on the outside. They're going to be side by side off of turn 4. That battle is not over, as they're going to enter turn 1 side by side. It looks like Caden Fisher having a little bit of a struggle. That car has a little bit of damage on the front end. He might be having a little bit of an issue with that, as Cookson's going to clear him down the backstretch. Blaze Brinkley going to clear Corey Bigley. That's going to be for 5th.
Now Cookson can set his sights on the top 2, but the caution is going to wave here. Lap 183, trouble further back in the field. It looks like Jonathan Sanford in the 212 went around into turn 3.
Looks like Sanford on the back straightaway just gets into the wall on his own. Looked reminiscent of what happened to Josh Caudill. As Caudill got into the back straightaway wall, and it just holds you there. Kind of turns your car out towards it, and you're stuck. And looks like AJ Rogers nowhere to go in the 17 machine once again. Actually, it wasn't even AJ. It was Jeff Rivard in the 72. Gets into the 212. And that's the caution. Unfortunately, Jonathan Sanford going to slip to the back.
Yeah, Sanford went around. He's going to rejoin at the rear of the field. Still on the lead lap. I believe that's going to give a lucky dog to Tom Scully. So Scully should be back on the lead lap in the 20th position. And we will have 20 cars on the lead lap.
So with the cautions mounting here in this race, there are going to be 3 attempts at a lucky dog. A lucky dog? Nah. A green-white checker if we need it. Hopefully we will not. We will just get back and see some great racing here to finish out this race. These guys are going to 15 laps remaining on this one.
So we are still under caution here. I think we're going to see the pace car lights out this time. They are going to get double filed up. Brett Suggs going to choose that inside line. I think that's a pretty clear choice there for Suggs. I think Thomas Axum, the only guy to really choose the top at one point, and it looks like we're actually going to go another lap here as pace car lights still on.
Boy, Jeff, we went probably 175 laps without any of the drivers. We'll say 150 without any of the drivers talking to each other, and it is the loudest driver chat I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, our Facebook chat as well. We saw Russell Brown, and it looks like Dante Curtis talking, and Dante said he'd wreck Russell Brown for a tumbler as well, so I guess they can kind of understand what's going on here.
I cannot wait to see the champion, the IceBreaker 200 Champions tumbler from County Road Custom Millwork. The custom tumblers we had made earlier this year are fantastic, so I am really looking forward to seeing what they come up with.
Yeah, that should be pretty cool. We'll definitely have to share that. Whoever ends up getting it here, whether it's Brett Suggs, Axum, Cookson, Caden Fisher, whoever ends up winning this, hopefully we'll get some pictures of it, and they'll share that with us. And pace car is off. Looks like Brett Suggs going to get away and can... Axum gets a second. He does. He drops down, but Bigley's in trouble.
Big
He's
wreck
spinning off turn 4. We saw Rick Rube involved. Looks like Shane Bedford, Jeff Rivard involved.
Corey just spun the tires in the 28 machine on the high side. John Bohorquez involved. Other cars as well, but Corey just got on the gas and spun the tires bad. Looks like Jeff Rivard, Shane Bedford.
Yeah, Corey just did not get a great restart, and I think when he saw the cars driving away from him, he picked up the throttle even harder, and that car just stepped out on him, and unfortunately ends up collecting a bunch of other good cars there. I think Rick Rube got hit pretty good. It looks like Caden Tufts got some damage as well.
Yeah, it was definitely Rick Rube was caught on the outside wall after the issue with Corey Bigley got him sent into the wall. And then he pulls off the wall. I don't know if we were quite yellow yet or if guys were noticing what was happening, but it looks like Jeff Rivard and Shane Bedford and Jonathan Sanford all got caught into that as well. So big wreck here with 10 to go. Unfortunately, it looks like that all started with, you, like you said, Jeff, with Corey Bigley just trying to get to those guys in front of him and just got super sideways on the restart.
Yeah, we're watching to see where some of these guys are going to end up. Rick Rube got spun around after that caution, but he's going to go all the way back up behind Sean Hayes. So it looks like iRacing's going to give him that spot back because the caution was out before he actually got turned around. So that's going to move Rick Rube up to 8th.
So Corey Bigley going to get the EOL from race control. That's only going to cost him one position on the racetrack, but not a position actually where he's going to be scored, as Trevor Edwards is laps down, but he'll have to start behind him. It's tough for the 28 machine. Was having a great run in that 28 car. So back to the front, that excitement will continue. Thomas Axum, Brett Suggs, Max Cooks, and Caden Fisher all battling for this win. Blaze Brinkley, he is now up to 5th. Your LCQ winner from last night, all the way to the top 5. Don't tell me you can't run the LCQ and do well in a race like this. Blaze Brinkley flying through this field. He's been doing well all night and had some issues of his own, but now he's back to the top 5 shot to win this thing.
Luke Baldwin sitting in 6 tons of damage to that 7 car, but Hayden Tough right now in the 6th position. Sean Hayes 7th. Rick Rube back up into 8th. Caden Tuff's 9th. Josh Cottle back into the 10th position. We saw Cottle get turned around there on the back straightaway a little bit ago. He's back up to 10th. AJ Rogers, Zach Owen, Jeff Rivard, and Landon Huffman up to the 14th position, trying to crack that top 10 once again.
Suggs and Axum. Suggs going to control this restart. We saw him get a great restart last time. Axum had to slot into 2nd place. Max Cookson going to try to get as good a restart as he possibly can. He wants to hold Axum to the outside so he can take a shot at Suggs. Here we go. Oh, and we are wrecking already. Sean Hayes, Luke Baldwin there on the inside wall coming off of turn 4. Something happened once again on the restart.
Yeah, Luke Baldwin. It looks like he got into the back of Caden Fisher there. He was pushing the 18, and the 18 just did not get a great restart after that contact. Luke ended up kind of coming down the racetrack. He collected Sean Hayes.
Kind of looks like Sean Hayes was up the racetrack a little bit as well. Everybody just running into each other before we start. Yeah, it's cars just going in, running into the cars in back of them that just turns them all over the place.
Yeah, it looked like Sean got into the back of Blaze. That didn't really set off the wreck. I think what ended up happening is Caden Fisher kind of spun the tires. Then he got hit by Luke Baldwin, and Baldwin's car kind of shot down the racetrack. And when Baldwin's car came down the racetrack, Sean Hayes was right there, and it just kind of turned both of them down into the inside wall. So it looks like we're heading towards a green-white checkered finish here for Brett Suggs. And Suggs kind of watching the time tick away here, and probably not feeling too comfortable here with these all these cautions.
So we're just circulating under yellow once again. Brett Suggs trying to pick up the big money in this race. Suggs was very excited about his late model shootout series win, Jeff, as he picked up the last race of the season, won in the late model shootout series. I can't even imagine what Suggs will be like if he was able to pick up the win in this race.
Well, that definitely mixed up the field there, so we'll go back through it once again. Brett Suggs, Thomas Axum, Max J. Cookson, Caden Fisher, the Blaze Brinkley, your top 5 as they were last time. But Caden Tuff's going to move up a spot to the 6th position. Rick Rube now 7th. AJ Rogers 8th. Sean Hayes, he continued on in the 9th spot. Josh Cottle in 10th. Jeff Rivard, Zach Oden, John Bajorquez, Landon Huffman 14th. Shane Bedford, John Piette, Jonathan Sanford, Tom Scully, Corey Bigley, and Luke Baldwin. Your 20 cars still in the lead lap. Trevor Edwards, he's 7 laps down. He's still out there on the racetrack making laps, but tough break for Trevor Edwards, who had a lot of speed all day long, just unfortunately got caught up in a couple incidents, and he's found himself deep in this field. So pace car lights out, and that means we are going to have a natural green-white checkered. So this will not count as one of our green-white checkers if we need them, but hopefully these guys are able to get this one green flag racing and underway. Brett Suggs, Thomas Axum, Max Cookson, Caden Fisher, Blaze Brinkley, Caden Tufts, your top 6 cars racing for $250 to win in a championship tumbler courtesy of County Road Custom Millwork. And a lot of prizes on the line throughout the top 10. We're going to keep an eye on it further back in the field as well. Brett Suggs going to take off. Thomas Axum tried to time it, did not get that start perfect.
Brad Suggs going to clear the field. Here comes Max Cooks into the 39. Axum up the racetrack. Here comes Blaze Brinkley in the 11. They're going to be side by side down the back straightaway. We'll go yellow. That'll bring us to another green white check.
And it looks like we had John Piet around in 1 and 2. It looks like it might have started with Bajorquez. Bajorquez got loose going into turn 1, locked up the brakes, and the guys behind him trying to react ends up getting turned around. It looked like Piet maybe got a little help there going into turn 1 as well.
And Bajorquez, with that damage on that 32 machine, gets a little sideways entering turn 1 and just kind of checks the field. But at the same time, I'm not sure what was going on with Tom Scully there. Just gets into the back of the 5, hits him once, and then decides that wasn't enough. Decided to hit him again.
Yeah, just a stack up there, but Scully kind of got into the back of the 5 car, kind of sent him into turn 1, and I think that might end up being one of those C car don't hit car situations there.
Hey man, car in front of you. You should probably not run into it. Piet was running in the 16th position in that 5 machine. Scully right behind him in 18th. They're battling for position.
So this will set up a green-white checker. This will be our first of 3 if needed. Hopefully not. Saw somebody in the chat calling for a single file restart. I think our drivers would kill us if we went to a single file at this point.
I believe John Piet's engine just expired in the 5.
That's a tough break for Piet because he has been having a great run today, just hanging around in the top 20. One of our Challenger Series drivers, kind of new to ITZR, and he's came in and is trying to find some speed and doing a great job tonight in ITZR IceBreaker. Unfortunately, just took some big damage there as he got turned into the outside wall and ended up killing off that car. So I think we're going to see pace car lights out this time. This will set up a little bit different look. This time Max Cookson will be on the outside. And we saw, what happened earlier in the race with Brett Suggs and Max Cookson. These two haven't been shy about sharing the fenders and doors. So we'll see what Max is willing to do here to the 33 of Brett Suggs. You got to keep it clean. I mean, you can't turn the guy or you're going to go to the rear of the field. So if it's a bump and run, you got to do it without spinning the guy. But Brett Suggs is going to be in control of this restart. First of 3 green-white checkers if we need them.
Brett Suggs waiting to go green, and he's going to wait a long time as they make contact. Cookson gets a little bit sideways because of that contact. Here comes Thomas Axum up the inside in the 13 machine. They're going to be side-by-side entering turn 1.
And AJ Rogers is spinning into turn 1. The caution is going to wave. Trouble behind them. Bajorquez, Jonathan Sanford is around as well, and that brings out the caution just as Thomas Axum got to second place, and that'll set up ourselves up for another restart.
Just looks like that same situation entering turn 1. Sean Hayes got to the inside of AJ Rogers on the restart. AJ did not get a good restart, and Sean Hayes decided to take the opportunity to get down inside of him, and just not a ton of room there as they almost went 4 wide entering turn 1.
Yeah, Josh Cottle took a peek underneath Rick Rubin to turn 4. He backed out of it, but then Sean Hayes was coming up the middle, and he ends up getting to the side of AJ Rogers.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see. I mean, it's another one of those situations we saw with Alex McCullum. We saw it with Huffman. He just gets to the inside, and this time, would he have made the corner? Would he not have made the corner? It's Myrtle Beach. It's just they're getting really aggressive going into turn 1. We didn't penalize Huffman or McCullum for that one. Same situation. He's to almost his front tires by the time they make contact. Yeah, that's just ultra aggressive. But I mean, we've seen it all night long.
So we are into overtime of this one, lap 208 now, looking at our second of 3 green white checkers. And that wreck happened right around the 8th position. AJ Rogers going to go to the back. So it'll be Brett Suggs, Thomas Axum, Max Cookson, Blaze Brinkley, Caden Tufts, Caden Fisher, Rick Rube, Sean Hayes in the 8th position. Josh Cottle, Jeff Rivard, your top 10. Second of 3 green white checkers if needed. Brett Suggs gets control to start. Cookson is pushing the 33 already. Axum on the outside trying to get a run. Can he clear Cookson? He will down into turn 1. Will this thing stay green for Axum? And he hit the inside berm. That cost him a ton of time.
Axum gets into the turtles going through turns 1 and 2. He's got a problem, so Suggs going to be out there just a little bit. Blaze Brinkley going to fight back on the outside. He's going to be side by side with Cookson. Here comes Caden Tufts in the 88 machine. He's been able to clear Fisher. Now Cookson grabs that 3rd spot. White flag for Brett Suggs.
Brett Suggs out front. Behind them, Cookson and Blaze Brinkley battling for 3rd. Cookson is going to clear the 11, but nobody's going to touch the 33 of Brett Suggs. Suggs through 3 and 4. Going to see the checkered flag as he comes off turn 4.
Suggs wins the 2nd annual Icebreaker 200. Caden Fisher made a last lap pass on Tufts for that 5th position, so he jumps into the top 5. But Brett Suggs, your winner. Thomas Axum comes home 2nd. Max Cookson 3rd. Blaze Brinkley came home 4th. Fisher 5th. Caden Tufts in 6th. Sean Hayes 7th. Josh Cottle came home in 8th. Rick Rube 9th, and Jeff Rivard 10th.
Rick Rube going to come home with that 9th place finish. Great job for Rick. Jeff Rivard 10th. Jonathan Sanford misses the payouts by just 1 spot. Comes home 11th. AJ Rogers 12th. Shane Bedford, Tom Scully, John Bajorquez, Corey Bigley, Luke Baldwin, Zach Owen, Landon Huffman, Trevor Edwards. Your top 20 tonight. John Piet, LP Lazier, Alex McCullum, Cade Brown, Will Dravicki, Kyle Martinson, Trayton Lapsevich, Dalton Collins, Jason Warren, and Matt Nicholson. Your 30 starters in tonight's Icebreaker 200. Bill, that was a pretty exciting finish there at the end. The bumpers and the fenders came out, and these guys started shoving each other around, and Brett Suggs ended up winning it.
Yeah, Brett Suggs, what a run. He came through the heat race. He had to start, I believe, back in about the 14th position. Actually, I think I believe he started 14th and drives it all the way to the front, wins this race, picks up the championship of the Icebreaker 200, grabs that $250, that custom tumbler. I'll tell you what, that was a good drive by the 33 driver.
Yeah, he kept his nose clean all night long, just stayed out of trouble, was just kind of hovering around the top 5, top 10, and he did a great job getting to the front when it counted. And man, and it looks like we actually got Brett here, so we can pull him up and talk to him a little bit.
Pretty good, though.
So Brett Suggs with us, and Brett, it got a little rough and tumble there about just past the halfway point. What was going through your head there when you were kind of trading doors with Max J. Cookson?
I mean, I was a little bit nervous there for a couple of them restarts, man. I don't know. I got to a good opportunity to get behind Landon there, and then just trying to ride around him. I think he had some motor damage, which was kind of slowing me down a little bit. Honestly, anytime I try to get a run, it's just I'd have to check up so I didn't run him over. And then whatever happened, and I guess prior to that, Cookson, for whatever reason, just gave me a pretty good sized door, moved me up the track, and didn't really appreciate that. But luckily, you know, what happened all came back around, and this is the biggest win I've ever had. We finished 2nd in this race last year, man. So I was really hoping to go out with a big one for this year and bring home a dub, and that's exactly what we did.
Yeah, Brett, you talked about it. I mean, it's good to talk to you. I mean, you helped sponsor the event. We really, really appreciate that, obviously. So you get your money back. How about that? But you talked about some of that bumping that was going on there with about 20 laps to go between the top four drivers. I want to know your mindset when that was going on. I'm sure you were upset. I'm sure. Was it an anger thing? Did it focus you even more? How did that work?
I mean, I certainly wasn't happy. I wasn't just going to let it slide. I mean, there's obviously a lot on the line here for this big icebreaker, and wanted to do anything I could to get back up to the front and try to get back around Landon. But once he got taken out there, it was kind of just I was a lone soldier trying to fend off the rest of the pretty aggressive pack, and I was kind of shaking a little bit, but happy to come down with it.
Well, you started 16th in this race, and you worked your way to the front. Kind of a quiet night through the first half of the race. Talk about your strategy going into it. It seemed like you were one of the few guys able to just run in the middle of the field and stay out of trouble.
Yeah, we had that long run for about 30 laps there at the beginning, and I mean, going into this thing, I kind of just wanted to ride. I knew we had a set of tires in the pits there, and that 30 lap run, I was barely even giving it throttle. I was just kind of trying to save, and after that, it kind of just turned into what you can do on a restart with all those yellows we kept on getting. But no, it's just once we got a little bit of track position on our side, I was still trying to just maintain and try to find a good time when we should take tires, and it came down. I think somewhere after lap 100, some of the top guys came down, and we followed them, and we were on that same sort of strategy. So I knew we weren't going to get beat on strategy if it came down to it, which you don't want to lose a race if it came down to a strategy call. So luckily we were able to get out ahead of the curve and keep it up front.
Now, Brett, you had to come through the heat races last night. That probably wasn't the qualifying effort that you were looking for. But you had a win in the late model shootout series at the end of the season there. You're definitely looking like a person we have to watch every single week. But tonight, while you were racing, you were working your way through the field. At what point did you feel like you had a shot to win this race?
I'd say one of those later pileups. I think we jumped from 7th to 5th or something like that. And at that point, I was like, okay, if we can, pick these next cars off here in a hurry, we'll be in good shape to try to get them there at the end. And I didn't really think we had it until we got up behind Landon, because I knew he was down on power, and if I could just hit my marks and get the thing turning, I felt like we could have gotten around him. It was just unfortunate that he got taken out pretty hard there, but it was probably around that time when I realized we had a good chance.
Well, Brett, we know you probably got some Twitch streamers you'd like to shout out for us as well, and some sponsors that help you do this, and of course, a couple of the sponsors that you put together for us, the Brett Suggs Marketing and Racing and your Twitch stream. Anybody else you want to shout out?
Yeah, shout out first and foremost. I had Jack on the box there helping me after Landon got taken out. He was spotting for Landon, then he switched over to help me, and that really helped out there at the end of it. So shout out NASCAR Jack is what I call him, as well as everybody that tuned into our stream here on twitch.tv/BrettSuggs33. We had, I think, roughly 60 people there for that final restart, which is awesome. I mean, those are huge numbers to hit. So shout out everybody at Team 33 that was tuning in, as well as everybody at Total Advantage. We had Trevor Edwards. We were in the Discord with him, working with him, Jinx, Josh Cottle, all the guys that, helped me in and out get better. And then everybody on our sponsors side, we got the Custom Matco, Lake Norman Power Cleaning, Brett Suggs Racing Marketing, you guys for these races, this broadcast, everything works together to put these deals on. So T1S Racing as well. Just appreciate everybody that tunes in for this.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, Brett. Glad to hear about the success on the Twitch stream tonight. That's awesome. And a lot of success on the racetrack, of course. And I just want to say congratulations. Thanks for being here, and way to go, man.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it a bunch.
That was your winner, Brett Suggs. We also have Thomas Axum in the room, came home second tonight. Thomas, wasn't the finish I'm sure you were looking for? You were excited about this race. How did you feel like the night went overall?
Overall, had a great strategy. We had a $250 pit stop that we all had to make, and timed it perfectly, exactly how I wanted to, how I was thinking about it all day, and it worked out perfect right at the halfway. And just one slight issue that caused us to not be in the lead and have third instead of first, and track position costed us, but can't be mad about a P2 to Brett Suggs.
we saw you lead a bunch of laps early on, and then towards the end there, as Suggs ended up with the track position. What was your strategy there on those restarts? What was your game plan for timing those and trying to actually be able to get a shot at him?
Yeah, being a leader for the first 100, I knew what the advantage was. I mean, it's just such hot track temps, and Myrtle Beach is just so slick, and timing the restarts is everything. So it was just going through my head was just trying to be there, clear off of 2, and then give myself a half a lap to gather it up and then try and get with them. But just so hard to pass. I felt like if we had some more green flag laps, it wouldn't have been an issue. I just never had the chance I could have.
What do you think could have gone different possibly in that whole sequence of events that I guess the contact was the worst situation that could have happened, but is that the one part where you felt like, oh no, I kind of felt like even though that happened, you still could have rallied and gotten forward? Is that the one thing that just kind of set you behind the 8 ball?
Yeah, it's just mental. Like something small like that happens, it just ticks you off, and then you're just thrown off. You'll miss your entry, you'll miss your exit. The small things tick you off, and it will set you off. And that's definitely one of them. But it was a good bounce back, and no matter what happens on the racetrack, you can come back, especially on a big race like this where they're paying out 1st through 10th. I mean, you can finish 10th and still have a good night. Sometimes you just be more mad at 2nd than you would be if you finished 10th. But like I said, finishing 2nd to Brett Suggs is awesome. I mean, I raced with that guy for the last 12 weeks in the ITZR league, and we had great green races. I mean, pretty sure during the regular season he led the entire Myrtle Beach race and then threw it away right there at the end. But that's what I was hoping for tonight. But he was able to clutch it up and hold his race car down.
Well, Thomas, is there anybody you want to thank or shout out here that helps you out and running up front in these races?
Yeah, heck yeah. Shout out to you guys, Bill Tomer, Jeff By Jr., you guys up in the booth. See Eric Myers up here, and all the broadcast guys. I mean, without you guys, we wouldn't have a TV for the fans, so that's pretty cool. Shout out to my sponsors, Bernier's Liquors, Peter Bernier, greatest liquor company coming out of Massachusetts. Then we got Studios 10 Designs, and Max Cookson, the big MCR 39 super late model. He had a great night tonight. It was fun racing with the old buddies. So just shout out to all the friends coming in here tonight, like McCullum, old Trayton Lapsovich, just a great big OG race. So just shout out to my sponsors and good win to Brett Suggs, and shout out to you guys.
Well, 2nd place, still a really nice payday, Thomas. And boy, you're stacking it together right now. Late model shootout series champion, and now 2nd place in the IceBreaker. You've been having a good month, so Merry Christmas to you and Happy New Year, and congratulations, man. Way to go.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for everything you do.
That was your 2nd place finisher, Thomas Axum, and a 39 machine home in 3rd place tonight. Looked like he might have had a shot at the win. A lot of bumping happening up front. Max, you're new to us. We don't know you very well. Well, nice to meet you, but great run tonight in 3rd. How did you feel about the event?
Yeah, it was fun. I've never ran with you guys before and saw they were doing a race, so I hopped in there and qualified 3rd there. And the first 100-ish laps, me and Tom, we were together and we kind of just checked out there, and no one could really touch us. And then towards the end of it, got a little messy.
So you just about halfway, you guys all decided to come in and take tires. Can you talk about that run to the front? You had some slower cars on older tires there, and you had to get around in that moment, and things got a little crazy there about halfway.
Yeah, it was a real mess, just with cars starting on old tires in front of us, and we're on new tires. Just not just a recipe for something to happen, but kind of sifted all through it, and then it was us 4 up front just racing real hard for it. And we put on a great show, I think, racing really hard for it, and it sucks towards the end of it. We couldn't go green at all and just had to enter yellow, but it was still a good race.
Max, you got to the lead. You were there, and then some bumping happened, and you got moved kind of out of the way. Things kind of happened, and cars crashed. Did you feel like even though that all went down, you still were going to have a shot at Brett towards the end?
Yeah, I think if one of those restarts towards the end just falls in my favor, I would have had a shot. I think the car, I had kind of saved my stuff there earlier in the after the stop, and I think I definitely had something for him. It was just yellow right after yellow, so didn't really have any time to do anything. But that was just really just hard racing in a big money event like this with no points on the line, just chasing the money. But it was a good race.
We saw the leader all night long have such an advantage on those restarts. How hard was it to time it right and not spin the tires? We saw a lot of guys up front spinning the tires quite a bit.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of tire spin, and the net code in the server tonight was just really, really off. And there was a lot of incidences with net code, and cars were just being weird. But yeah, restarts were definitely really tough, and it seemed like the leader, unless you just got it perfect, the leader was pretty much going to be out there for a lap or two.
Well, Max, we know it takes a tribe to get here, to get to this level of super late model racing on the iRacing service. Who do you want to thank that have helped you get to this point?
Yeah, I just got to thank Splash and Go Graphics. It's on the car. Thomas Axum and Jason Ricker, and all you guys for putting it on. All the guys that run ITZR will definitely be coming back.
Well, Max,
Awesome. Go ahead, Jeff.
We do appreciate it. We appreciate everybody that showed up and ran with us. It was a ton of fun. Great racing up front. You guys put on a heck of a show, and that's what we're all about here at ITZR. We just want great super late model racing, and it's awesome to see more of the heavy hitters, so to speak, and super late model racing coming out and racing with us at ITZR.
Yeah, thank you. I raced real life all this season, so kind of getting back on in the sim, but it's been fun.
We appreciate it, Max. Congratulations. Nice, decent payday for third spot, and have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Well, so that was Max Cooks, and he finished third. That was your top three. Sounds like a pretty good group of guys. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, that was the fun battle between all three of those guys. Great racing up front all night long, and we had some issues. The super late model racing gets a little rough on iRacing in the super late model, and it came out. It showed tonight, and these guys they race with each other so much. All of these guys just consistently and constantly racing with each other, and they start to get a little bit of rivalries and tempers flaring here and there, and you saw a lot of that come out tonight, and especially when the money's on the line, a big race like this, $250 to win that championship tumbler courtesy of County Road Custom Millwork. The gloves came off tonight, Bill.
Yeah, definitely. Gloves were off from the 100 lap point forward. A lot of bumping, a lot of things going on, and the driver chat was animated in it. But it makes for an interesting night. So congratulations to Brett Suggs, Thomas Axel, Max Cooks, and those guys did great. Blaze Brinkley, Caden Fisher, top fives. It is so hard to run a top five with in a race like this. Those guys all had a fantastic race and a great night. It ended up being an interesting event. So I liked it. And I hope everyone that was watching did too. And congratulations to Brett Suggs for being the IceBreaker 200 champion.
Yeah, and shout out to everybody, all of our partners that helped put this on. SD Ireland Cancer Research Fund, Brett Suggs Racing and Marketing, TJ Chummy Esports, the International Short Track Association, Brett Suggs 33 on Twitch, Revelry Racing, and of course County Road Custom Millwork. That championship tumbler is going to be a sight to see. Can't wait to see it. Make sure you guys are following us on Facebook. Make sure you give us a follow. Keep up to date with what's happening here at ITZR. Announcements will be coming soon about our next season late model shootout series, our Challenger series on Tuesday nights. It should be another fantastic season. We are ready to do 2022 right, and it is coming up soon, probably the end of January, maybe the beginning of February. Well, thank you to everybody that hung out with us on Facebook. It was a ton of fun. Thank you for all your comments. Everybody watching this on YouTube, make sure you go over to our website. Make sure you go to our Facebook page. Give us a like, and